One of the few silver linings of the pandemic is that theaters and artists putting their work online now have a global audience, which means a small theater company like Needham's Arlekin Players can find itself with a rave review by the New York Times and people around the world zooming in to see its latest play. State versus Natasha Banina introduces us to Natasha, a Russian orphan who falls in love with a journalist writing about her story.
I want real love, I want the bridal veil and chocolate candies, and I want all our girls to follow us in a line, and for all of them to be dying of envy.
But we meet Natasha as she wants we, the audience, to believe she's innocent of the manslaughter charges against her. And I met its creative team appropriately on Zoom. Dasha Denisova, the star of the piece, thank you so much for joining us. Igor Goliak, director and artistic director of Arlekin Players Theatre. We thank you both for being here. We should mention that you're partners in this project and in life, which is why we don't see social distancing before us, but we thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited to talk about this because I had this moment, you gave us this moment, where we got to have live theater again. We may not have been in the theater space, but I got to go into my study, sit down at the appointed time. I had to be there on time. I saw the fellow audience members, and we saw this piece, which we'll talk about. But Dasha, first take us into who Natasha is. We find her in this state as we find her in this room. Tell us a little bit about her.
Natasha Banina is a 16-year-old girl who basically grew up in a state-run foster home in Russia.
My mom called me her abortion. That one can survived. What am I gonna do? Tell him about Vadim the pimp who snuffed out my mom?
She got into the orphanage at the age of 4 or 5, and she committed a crime out of passion. That's how she ends up in this jail cell.
And she, by way of you, are in our faces, right up in our screens. What is this moment? And Igor, I'll bring you into this too. What is this moment that we're having?
This moment is when Natasha is pleading basically for her life, for her existence, for her world, and trying to make us understand the world that she lives in.
Then one day she comes home with this letter for me. Dance, she says, your mama sent you a letter. I'm like, what do you mean dance? And she says, dance. So I danced some, and then she says, now while you're dancing, start taking off your dress. And she laughs like a horse. She was really drunk.
How did this occur to you that this would work in this moment? We can't be together in a live theater, but we do have our laptops.
Well, the thing is that I think when a director enters any space, be it a virtual space or a physical space, one of the first things that a director must do is to analyze the space and look for the opportunities in the space. That's why we changed it around to having audience be the jurors. And that's the most important part of a virtual theater working, that an audience needs to have a role in the show. Otherwise, we're competing with the film.
Actors always tell me they need the audience. You feel the energy when you walk into that room. Did you feel that? It seems like you certainly do as you're doing this via Zoom.
Yes, I certainly do feel it.
Karen, do you have a dream? Joshua, do you have a dream?
There's a huge screen in front of me, which the audience obviously doesn't see. And I see everybody's faces people who leave their cameras on. I see their faces, I see those eyes, and there's definitely an energy exchange. The connection is pretty strong.
Well, tell me a little bit more about how this happens, where it happens, how you're shooting it, because the other great moment, as I mentioned at the outset, is this is live.
There is 2 or 3 parts where the faces of the audience comes up during the shows. And when she's addressing Jared, what is your dream? Anne, what is your dream? And so forth. Ed, what is your dream? All the critics of and their faces come up. And everyone sees it, so they know that it's live.
Oh, that's thrilling. So you start this show, this little theater company from Needham, Massachusetts, and you're going along, and then all of a sudden the New York Times reviews you. The New York Times makes you a critic's pick, up there with all the great musicals in New York and the other great shows in New York. Well, how has that changed everything?
I think, well, it definitely changed our audience. I mean, our audience. We last night the last show that we had audience, I think, from around 27 states and 6 different countries. We had people from Egypt, from China, from Australia, Mexico, France. You know, and all these people are joining, and they're introducing themselves in the chat before the show, and they're all this collective jury. And our world has changed because you know, we've hit our maximum capacity on Zoom, and we're hoping to go onto a world virtual tour with this production.
You're laughing. I mean, this is just unbelievable, right? That this could happen. I mean, how do you process this kind of success?
Well, it's really difficult to It's exciting. I don't know. It's exciting. We're excited to share this work. What do you think?
It's thrilling and it's overwhelming.
You're kind of inventing a new form, aren't you? In the middle of this pandemic, as we all consider what art is, as we all consider how we do art and how we engage in it. What do you see happening as you've molded it here?
I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible, and in my opinion, it's definitely not a stopgap of what's happening right now. This is going to stay, and it's going to evolve because it works, because it's impactful.
I don't mind being immodest again and saying I'm not on the bandwagon for this one. I was there at show number 1, so congratulations on all that you've experienced, and it really is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you for having us.